So hello, everyone. I'm glad you're with us for the info session for the 2023 Moorea program. Happy to be doing this for the second year in a row. Let's get into the introductions. I'll say a few quick words about myself, and then you'll hear from Alexandrine. So for myself, my family and I currently live in Northern California. We're just north of San Francisco. But for much of the pandemic, we lived on the island of Tahiti. We moved there with our then 5-year-old and 9-year-olds. And while there, I got to pursue my heart and soul in starting Working Without Borders. Developed a friendship with Alexandrine and others, and it gave rise to this month-long program, which we did last summer, and now this coming summer we'll do for the second time. You'll hear more about that in just a moment, but Alexandrine, how about if you say a few words about yourself and Nanny Travels?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Sam, for doing all of this. So my name is Alexandrine, but you can call me Alex. I was born and raised in the island of Tahiti, and I was lucky enough to be able to travel and study around the world. After some experience in the hospitality industry, just seeing like the impacts and how it is handled globally, I decided to focus my studies on sustainable development and environmental policy, just to combine like how can tourism have actually a positive impact rather than just financial, but also with the community and the environment, because our islands really kind of depend on this economy. And I really wanted to show that our islands are not just Bora Bora and bungalows and luxury. It's also a lot of history, lots of people, lots of amazing places to discover than just those islands. And thus I created Nanny Travels, which is the first tour operator and travel agency here in French Polynesia that really promote sustainability initiative. And I'm very happy that now the country is going towards this direction, but for some years we were feeling a little bit lonely, but right now it's really kicking, so really happy to do that. And I'll be sharing more about this program that we've created and how, you know, we see tourism. I also have a baby, he's 3 years old, and a husband to be, and we live now in the island of Moorea.
Okay. Great. And with that, I'll say a quick word about the vision we're pursuing with Working Without Borders. It's the idea of that, what if we could raise our kids while experiencing the world and discovering the most interesting places, not as a tourist, but like a local? What if we could give that experience to our kids to where they grow up as global citizens, having been immersed in different cultures and ecosystems around the world in an authentic way? And what if we could do that not sort of alone, where we're wondering, gosh, who would we know? But what if we could do it with a community of like-minded, like-valued families, seeing each other repeatedly in different parts of the globe? And then finally, what if it were possible to do this with some support, so that when it comes to the issue of, my gosh, how would we plan all of this? What if there were support to really make it feasible? And in terms of the vision or the mission, what we're at the highest level, what we're seeking to do is foster cross-cultural understanding, which leads to more caring and empathy, a greater sense of stewardship for the places we live in and experienced, and then ultimately, tremendous personal growth. In my life, that came about when I was an exchange student in Australia, and then an exchange student in Puerto Rico, and I've lived a couple of times when I was younger in Costa Rica, and those experiences were so formative for me that they give me this calling. In terms of how we go about this, the kind of community we're building isn't going to come about by accident. So for all the families who come, as part of the application, everyone describes the extent to which they sort of share these core values that you see there on the screen. So even though we can come from different parts of the globe, wildly different backgrounds, we may have even different approaches to how we're educating our kids, from world schooling to homeschooling to, traditional education. We've got these values in common. And then finally, in terms of what we build into our programs, there are these 6 main design elements that we pay close attention to. There's always a local host to really accelerate the process of understanding the place and the culture and the ecosystems that we're living in. So there's always a local team and a local host to really help get us connected and welcomed in to the society. There's always youth programming, and the real crux of it for us is doing the work it takes so that local youth, similarly aged local youth, are involved right along the visiting kids or teens. There's always a number of activities and events that are planned for parents, for the whole families, for the kids. And we strive to get the optimal balance of some thoughtful, unique things that are available, but a lot of unstructured downtime as well, so that things can kind of arise organically as families come up with ideas. Community is a big factor. We'll talk a little bit about that. Accommodations aren't always necessarily included where we've sort of put down a deposit and reserve places, but we've always got at least a strategy in terms of how we can enable everyone to find suitable accommodations. And likewise with workspace, this program that we'll describe differs even from the previous year in the sense that we won't be arranging a third-party sort of co-working space, but we'll be assisting families to find accommodations that can really work for them for whatever their remote work needs are. So the rest of this presentation will dive into how these design elements are being handled for this program in Moorea. And first and foremost, we'll get into the youth programming, and specifically the teen program first, or known as the TAMA program. And Alexandrine, I'll enable you to advance the slides as you wish.
Thank you. Wonderful. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the TAMA program and just a little bit on how it really arrived. Is that we had this request from Sam with this brilliant idea of oh, I cannot see the slide anymore.
Oh, hang on, sorry about that. Making you the host was not a good idea. It would enable you to change the slides, but
maybe I can do a sign like this to change the slide.
Yeah, okay, you just do that. Let me come back to be the host.
Okay. But yeah, so basically the TAMA program has been created because of you guys coming to our islands. And it was amazing because we had the chance to really share what is our true environment, what is our true culture, and really create a program around kids, kind of like a summer school. But the real aspect of the TAMA program is that this program also allows local teens that we select that doesn't have the capacity or ability to travel. Most of them never traveled, and for us, like through this program, we're really hoping to be able to raise the next generations. Most of them never dove. Most of them don't even really know their culture. There's a really big gap between all this. So we wanted to create a program where kids from the international kids could spend 1 month with local kids and studying different subjects such as environment or culture and fun activities also.
Okay, there you go.
So how it's going to work this year is that every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday morning, the teens will have to choose between 3 subjects because we wanted them to be in a smaller group to really integrate this subject, really learn about it. Last year we did for everyone, and we just could see that some kids are more sportive, some kids are more artists, some kids are more into biology. So we wanted to give them their chance to choose really like what is their focus and dive into that in a smaller group. So it's going to be for the international kids, but also the local kids. And this year we have 3 main subjects. So the first one is science, and we're going to focus on the cycle of the water. So from the rain to the oceans and what is really like going on, and really going into there, having great expertise from a specialist. The second one is going to be culture. So we have a group here that we call the Arioi, and the Arioi were a clan in ancient Polynesian that were really the voice, the books, the artists of our community, and they were the knowledge holders. So it's going to be a lot of music, a lot of art, a lot of plants, healing, lots of Polynesian tradition that they will be able to learn firsthand with like locals and elders. And then the third one will be multimedia storytelling. Now all over, I mean, hopefully not my kids yet, but they all into their smartphones and devices, and they spend so much time into it. And we thought like, what could we do to create something positive for the community or for the environment or for them to use those devices that are here into something profitable? So we're gonna work with photographers, videographers, storytellers to create a little exposition. So it could be photo or it could be a video that will relate to something around sustainability or something about, you know, community or something like this. So it's going to be, all those 3 subjects are really different. They're all going to be fun, and it's going to be around 2.5 hours to 3 hours maximum per day. In the afternoon, so all the kids will gather together, so for some fun activities, just so we also have like this group exchange. So there's going to be a lot of different activities such as like dancing, drumming, like sailing in a traditional outrigger, kayaking in like bottom glass kayaks, e-biking in a mountain to discover like pineapple fields and legends, zip lining. I mean, a lot of different things will come along, and they're all going to be less, you know, intense in knowledge, but really into like having fun and exchanging, but also having this touch of immersions. On Wednesday is going to be dedicated to diving. As I told you, like a lot of local kids never went under the water, and it's a great opportunity for them to also be able to discover their own ocean and lagoons. As for international, just to discover the beauty of our reefs and our fish and everything's happening under the water. So for the whole month, they'll be able to pass this open water certifications that will allow them to really like dive up to 20 meters, I believe. And this is going to be on Wednesdays. It's going to be a half day, and depending on their group, depending on their level, also some of the kids might have already their certification. They can pass another, you know, certification, and the rest of the time is really free also to enjoy the friends or your guys' family. But this is the special day where we organize certification for scuba diving. And then on Fridays, well, this is actually really new because actually I just came back from 2 months in New Zealand, and last year was also a great thing to see how can family interactions are during vacation. And our program last year was really intense. The kids didn't really even want to go home at some point, but the parents really wanted to interact with their kids. And I think it's really important to, even though like you might be working full time or not, most of the time, you know, in the afternoon, like folks doesn't really have to work, and Friday sometimes is a different days elsewhere. So we wanted to create this day for the whole family together with the teens and the local teens too. We'll also invite the local parents, so you guys can really go all together and do something. So it could be like, you know, like, I don't know, like hiking, it could be like sailing, it could be whatever, and it's going to be for half day, and we'll end up with like a nice picnic lunch all together. And then, yeah, that's how the week is going.
Okay. And now I'll tell you a bit about the kids camp. So when my family and I lived in French Polynesia, my kids went to the Tahiti International School, and this kids camp is at the equivalent school, the Moorea International School on the sister island of Moorea. My kids, my now 8-year-old daughter Sienna and my now 12-year-old boy Kaz, they each participated in this camp last year. It's designed once again for kids ages 3 to 12, and there'll be similarly aged youth, local youth involved as well. It's a multidisciplinary camp, and you'll hear more about that on the next slide or two, led by the director, Zaida Bernal, and her multilingual staff. It's right on the lagoon, and some of the school activities involve caring for the marine ecosystem in the lagoon directly in front of the school. So there's essentially a marine protected area right in front, and some of the pedagogy occurs out in the shallow lagoon as kids are learning about the aquatic species and the reef right in front. In terms of what will happen in the water, there'll be several boat tours of the lagoon around the island, and kids will get exposed to all kinds of marine species. They'll learn a lot about the biology of the area. Here you see my son in the red shirt and some of our other friends with one of the naturalists exposing them to the stingrays in the area. So they'll get a lot of exposure to that, the sea turtles, just on and on and on. There'll be a fair bit of snorkeling, kayaking, and a lot of that happens, again, right out in front of the school. And in terms of the activities on land, there will be hikes to waterfalls, pineapple farms, an equestrian center with all the horses. They'll get to visit the fairly new and beautiful nature museum on the island. There'll be several different cooking workshops for Polynesian dishes. They'll learn Tahitian dance, various forms of Tahitian arts and crafts, including these workshops for manoi, the type of flower that makes very fragrant oils for different purposes, the pareos, which folks wear. And there will be a language component as well. They will be getting some instruction in French. Yeah, I guess that's it for the kids camp. And now over to you once again, Alexandrine, to talk about the weekend activities.
Sure, and just quickly, the TAMA program is in partnership with the Fare Natura, so the Natural Museum, so that our program is really involved with like the experts. So this was just like a little things that I want to say. Okay, so in terms of activities and events, so the first weekend when you guys will arrive, we'll come and pick you up, of course, at the airport. We'll take you to spend one night at the Hilton. And then in the morning after breakfast, we'll all meet in a conference room over there and just introduce you to to our team. They will be also the local host from Working Without Borders, and just to go through with everything that you guys will experience during the whole month. So, all type of questions and all this will be able to answer you. And then after, we'll take you to the island of Moorea, which is a very short ferry ride to, it's about 30 minutes. And over there, you'll be able to go into your own accommodations. And that's it for the arrival weekend. Then after your first week of, well, I guess, experiencing the island and being involved with all this, we'll go into a motu, which is on the picture you see, like it's a small island close to shore. It's just beautiful, lots of white sand beach and beautiful lagoon. And we'll have a lunch all together with lots of food and drinks and some activities for the kids, just so you guys can, again, meet all of you guys again. Yeah, basically that's it.
Okay.
The third weekend will be for the cultural weekend. So we call it like the immersion day with the local family. So for the TAMA program, we are sponsoring all of those kits, mainly from our foundation, from the donation. And we asked the local host, local family, to host you guys during a weekend. So it's going to be an amazing day where you can actually interact with the local family. Most of them might not speak English, but like words and sign can work out. And it's really a way for you to see, like, going out of the tourism aspect and really meet the Polynesians. You have different types of activities during the day, and it's really up to them to create something. Most of them are really excited all the time, and they're gathering all their families, and they're just so proud to show that they're part of this program, and they're having guests from overseas. So it's really, really an amazing day, and mostly like the highlights of the tour for families. And then during the weekend, so you have like an exploration weekend where you have, some weekend where you can just do whatever you want. Sam and his team will be able to help you organizing few activities. Please feel free to also like reach to us if you need any. Maybe you want to go in the island, maybe you want to go to the Tuamotus, take a like a catamaran cruise, or whatever you really wish. This is the weekend to do so. And if not, like, there's many things to be involved in the island during this weekend. And finally, the last weekend will be for a mini Heva. So Heva is really like a big festivity that is happening in July. And the mini Heva, well, it's a small Heva that will be organized from your kids, from the teen, and also for the smaller kids. And they will just like show also the project that I've been working on for the whole month. They will present you a show, a Polynesian show, and we'll have like traditional meal with all the local families too that will participate to this event. So last year was just very magical, very spectacular. As you can see in the picture, we all finished with a big circle and a prayer just to finish this beautiful month all together. But it's something I would even say, like, yeah, mystical, and it's really something amazing. So you'll be probably proud to see your kids speaking Tahitian by then, or actually drumming and do all of this. But it's definitely for me the best moment.
Yeah. Alexandrine, I see that Craig O'Neill has dialed in.
I've seen him too.
Craig, are you there? Because if so, I would love to just pull you in here.
Hey, hello.
Okay, great, folks. This is a treat. Craig and his family were with us in Moorea last year.
We certainly were.
Yeah, and Craig, given that you've dialed in, how about if you share a few words about what it was like for you and your family?
Yeah, I would be more than happy to share a few words. My family and I, we have two teenagers, currently 16 and 14, and we participated in this program this past summer, and it was amazing. I will say, they cannot do it justice showing you the pictures they've shown you and telling you about what's going on. We had an absolutely fantastic time. The mini Heva that as Alexandrine was just telling you about was awesome. Our kids had an amazing experience with the daily programs and learning the Polynesian dancing and culture and marine biology aspects of it. I think I heard Alexandrine just talking about the kind of family day. My son and I got to spend a day with one of the families there. True, they did not speak much English, but between my high school French and the mom's very limited English, we managed to get by, and we had an incredible day. So yeah, we're not going this summer, but I just like the email notification popped up, and I just thought I'd drop in just to say a few positive words for you, because can't say enough how much fun we had. And nice to see you, Sam, and really good to see you, Alexandrine, and hope you guys.
Craig, I have your picture of your son in my office.
We have a giant picture of him cracking open a coconut posted on our wall right now. Good times, good times.
Thank you, Craig. So good to see you.
Yeah,
Good
thank
to
you,
see you
Greg.
too. Really missed you guys, and we had a great time.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Okay. Well, with that, let's say a few words about what's organized on Tuesdays for the parents to do while the kids and the teens are in their programs. Alexandrine, can you comment a bit about what the options are?
Yes, 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 definitely. Well, I mean, we're thinking also for the parents, even though you might work and a lot of them maybe are flexible. We really wanted also to give you an opportunity to explore those. And so we create immersions, which are really based on the community and local NGOs. So it's not something that you can possibly buy on TripAdvisor or anywhere, because we created our own with our friends, with our neighbors, with the elders, with local NGOs. And this really allows you to deep dive, in different subjects. So paddling in outriggers canoes is my friend that I was in school with. The mountain trails on e-bike is with the Fare Natura, the museum, and one of our elders that knows all the legends and each place is in the mountain. He's also a hunter. Polynesian beauty rituals is one of my friends that is like a princess and goes and do her beauty rituals by the river. There's so many different things that you can do. Whale tours is also with a local NGO that we're actually sharing our office here with Oceania, and they're really going to tell you more about what's going on with the whales, where are they coming, and why it's so important to protect them. And also, it's not there, but you're going to be able to learn about corals, and see how how the global warming, for example, is impacting our reef, with marine biologists. So a lot of different activities that you'll be able to choose from. We also, again, like to have small groups, and we will send you a form where you can choose what you want to do beforehand, so it's easy for everyone to know what they're up to. And it's going to be just a nice half day for parents to just kind of take off. This is going to be on Tuesday, and it's going to be in the morning afternoon, so you have time to drop your kids and pick them up after if needed.
Okay. And now let me say a few words about the Working Without Borders local host. So above and beyond the Nanny Travels team, there will also be a representative of Working Without Borders. And that will be a local resident who's accessible full-time, really helps folks to feel like a local, get connected, and can provide a wide range of assistance, almost like a concierge. If somebody did need to see a dentist or a doctor or an orthodontist, it can help facilitate that, arranging other activities. If there's things with your accommodations, but that individual will help to be in touch with all the different families, find out what needs exist, and will coordinate with Nanny Travels just to have smooth communication and execution of all of this. We're talking with various candidates for this role, Polynesians, French expats, but we'll ultimately select someone who not only really knows the local culture and the place, but who can relate really well to these expat families and really understand their needs. So when it comes to working remotely and so forth, someone who really gets it, so to speak. And then in terms of accommodation for this program, we're assisting each family to find accommodations that work for them. So for example, Craig, who you just heard from, their family had rented a house on the lagoon, worked well. We'll basically work with each family who applies and is accepted to find something suitable via Airbnb, VRBO. There are other property managers, companies like Tahiti Homes that have, bungalows, villas. And then finally, there are some outfits that run even communities of bungalows like the Moorea Sunset Beach and Le Tipanier. So we'll work with each family based on your family's size, your needs, your preferences to find something that works for you. And if you do need to work remotely, then we'll work with you to make sure you're getting accommodations that can work in that regard. Some families don't ultimately need to work remotely, and so they may not need fiber optic. Others do. Others will do a lot of Zoom calls, and so we'll help you scour the different listings to find something that can meet your needs. And then in terms of community, two things to note. Prior to departure, we organize Zoom calls for the parents, and then also for the parents and the kids, so that everybody can start getting to know each other in the run up to this big adventure. We also create a Facebook group, so people can start, interacting and even planning additional things while we're there. For example, last year, some of the parents wanted to get scuba certified. So in the run up to the trip, largely through Facebook, they self-coordinated so that they too could get that training. And then while in Moorea, above and beyond the organized activities and events that we've described for you, because everybody will be connected via WhatsApp and there'll be this local host, all kinds of things arise. It's just inevitable that there will be many instances of folks saying, "Hey, we found this great gelato place. Would you guys like to meet up, at the end of the day when the kids are back? We're going to go to this restaurant for dinner. We're going to meet on the pier to watch the sunset. And we're going to bring, drinks and charcuterie and so forth." Just myriad things like that arise to where the families become a real community. And as the kids and the teens are becoming friends with locals, part of the beauty is that the community is not just of expats, but over the course of the month, there's increasing interaction and meaningful friendships arising between local residents and the visitors. Okay, in terms of pricing, we're currently in the early bird pricing period. It goes to the end of this month. For adults to participate in the month-long program, it's $3,200. For kids aged 3 to 12 who would be participating in the day camp, $3,400. And then for teens from 13 to 18, that's $5,300. And it's worth noting that includes a pretty substantial donation for local scholarships so that the local teens can participate as well, making it a real cross-cultural exchange. For families with more than one kid, there's the 10% sibling discount. There's no charge for kids aged 2 and under. And if you'd like, we can do what we've done last year, which is put you in touch with candidates who can provide nanny services and so forth. And if you'd like to see a detailed list of what's included on the trip page under the invoice tab, that's where you can find that info. And we're almost done with the slides, and we'll get into the Q&A. Almost done here. The next steps are basically to submit the online application. You can find that on the trip page. There's an apply tab. It typically takes about 10 minutes. We get back to you typically the same day, otherwise the next day, after reviewing it and discussing it to let you know of your acceptance. Upon acceptance, you pay a $1,500 deposit. You can do so via Zelle, check, credit card. It's fully refundable until April 1st. From that point forward, we'll turn on various quote unquote tasks or pieces of information in our trip management software system, so you can see more details about travel insurance, which you may want to consider. We'll turn on information to make it easy for you to share, dietary information or restrictions, medical info, eventually flight info, and so forth. And then the full balance is due April 1st. And with that, I want to share that all of you who are here with us live, if you go on the trip, you're going to be entitled, above and beyond everything that's already planned, which we've described to you, the individuals who are with us now, Rosa and Gabriel and Ivan and so forth, Andrew, Lisa, we'll arrange for you guys an additional whale tour, an additional cetacean tour where you may also see, dolphins. This shot actually was taken by one of the participants last year. That's kind of indicative of what you might see if you're so fortunate. And with that, let's get into Q&A. So I'll monitor the chat and folks can kind of raise their hand or just unmute themselves. And we'll get into questions here. Okay, what did we not address that's on your mind?
I think there's already a Ivan that has a question on surfing. And there are intermediate breaks. My fiance just started surfing now and he's already on the break. It's just how you feel about it. I also surf here, but really like shallow waves. There's 2 meter deep, so you have no chance to go on the reef, but you need to feel really confident in the water because it's still in the reef and it can be, a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
Cool,
And then,
thanks.
yeah, go ahead, Ivan.
I'll bring my reef booties.
All right.
Probably fine for me. I was asking for my wife, who's more of a big beginner surfer, but I think maybe I found an article online. There's some beach breaks on the east side of the island? Or
there are beach breaks in Tahiti.
Oh,
In
okay.
Moorea, it's only reef spot. And I know that there's a teacher here that actually takes kids and beginner to
okay.
a reef that is not, it's really nice waves and easy going. But again, it's not like a beach break where you can see the bottom of your feet. It's still outside. So
Got it. Thanks. Yeah, looking forward
you're
to it.
welcome.
Yeah. And then as Craig mentioned in the chat, for what it's worth, if your family were ever interested in taking the 30-minute ferry over to Tahiti, there are some excellent beaches there for beginners. And there are some great camps, surf camps for kids, lots of different surf schools and instructors. When my family and I were living on the island of Tahiti, both of my kids did the surf camps numerous times. So that's just something to consider. You might want to mix it up some weekend and go over to Tahiti and
Yeah.
do something like that as a family.
Sounds fun.
Okay. Let's see.
I have a question. I had if you're so just to get a recap of the program is that you go as a family and we'd find our own rental place. You'd help us do that, but find a rental place where we stay as a family together. Then is it every day on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, the children, the teenagers would go and the kids would go to their respective programs. Wednesdays would be a day where they could go scuba diving. And what would they do if they don't do scuba diving? Like say maybe they're not so brave to do that yet. And then Fridays is a day for, what did you say, cultural or events with the other local families? And then is the weekends the time that we do something together as a family? So there's no scheduled programs on the weekend. Is that correct?
I'll say a few words and then Alexandrine, you can chime in as well. So I really appreciate those questions because I realize now certain things that we should have clarified and conveyed. The kids camp that we've arranged with the Moorea International School for kids aged 3 to 12, that goes Monday through Friday throughout the whole month. The only day when it's not being offered is July 14th, Bastille Day, French holiday. But otherwise, Monday through Friday, it's basically an 8 a.m. drop-off between 8 to 8:30 and a pickup between 3:30 to 4 p.m. So
they're going to school every day. Okay.
Yeah, and now it's a summer camp, so it's hosted by the school, but school's out, and it's this month-long summer camp that they've developed with us. For the teens, age 13 to 18, it is such that on I'll ultimately draw you in, Alexandrine, but basically on the Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays during the morning, they do their master class, then they convene for lunch, and these adventures around the island during the afternoons. Fridays are the days when both the local parents and the visiting parents are welcome, to come join the teens for these different activities, which then culminate in a picnic lunch on Fridays. And then for the teens on Wednesdays, that's the day dedicated to the scuba certification. If teens were not into that for whatever reasons, then they'd essentially be free that day. Alexandrine, maybe you can elaborate a bit?
I think you said it all, but it's really 3 full days from 9 to 4 and 2 half days. Depending, it could be like family day or scuba diving. If they're not into scuba diving, they could also join the group and do some snorkeling. And if they really don't want to do it, then they're really free to do whatever. The local hosts and of course, like the Tama program, people can help, you guys to see if she wants to or he wants to do something else.
Okay. And so it's not very difficult to travel between the islands, is that correct? Between Tahiti, I'm thinking Tahiti and Moorea.
It's really easy. There's ferries probably every hour.
Okay.
And it's a 30 minutes ferry and you arrive directly in the city. And from there you can go to the market, grocery, you can take buses, taxis to everywhere really you want to go. So it's pretty easy from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. and at night there's ferries all the time.
Okay, cool. My daughter just married a Tahitian, so she's having a reception actually in July. So I was like, oh, I'm trying to see, but it's on the island of Tahiti. So, but we're going to be there for a few weeks. So I was thinking, oh, this would be kind of cool, but I'm not sure if they do this or maybe next year because the rest of my family were all going, but it caught my eye. It sounded interesting.
Well, congratulations to you and your daughter.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, we may be spending a little more time in Tahiti.
Yeah, nice. Okay, I see a question on which part of the island are all the activities in? And I'll say a few words and then Alexandrine, you build upon them. Let's see. So first off, it's important to note that the Moorea International School is in the northeastern part of the island, in the largest town of the island, though still quite small. That's Maharepa, which I think you can see here on the map. It's there. And then Alexandrine, I think the base of the teen programs is over on the other northwestern side of the island. Activities can occur largely on the northern side, though some of the hikes that they'll go to could take them, way to the southern side of the island. And then Alexandrine, you want to add a bit to where are most of the activities?
Yeah, so most of the activities, as you said, is going to be on the north side of the island, around Hapiti. So where you see the whales, I cannot show you my cursor, but where you see the whales all the way to the first bay, this is where most of like the family activities will host, the weekend activities will be, and the teen program will also be in this side of the island. And yeah, as Sam said, like we'll go around with the teens and with the adults around the island. It's not a really big island, so if we go for a 1-day excursion, like we'll do like 20 minutes maximum, one way to reach a point. But otherwise, yeah, as you said, like north part of the island. Also, I just wanted to see like most of the accommodation that you might find available. If you think that you want to do this program, I really highly encourage you to start looking for them. They should be in the north side too. Most of them are around Hapiti, Papitoe. This is why actually the team, that DAMA program will also happen there, so you don't have to drive that much. It's going to be like 5 minutes to drop the kids to the place. And there's beautiful villas, there's beautiful places to rent. And if you can't find it for 1 month, great. If not, like you can also like, you know, have 1 week there, 1 week there, and have different views of the islands, maybe sometime in the mountain, by the beach. So yeah, this is where we are.
Yeah. And I would just add to that last year, all of the families, mine included, all 14 of the families were along basically a 2-mile stretch where on this map it says Papatoai. Some folks were in the garden bungalows of the Moorea Sunside Beach. Others, like Craig's family, had villas or homes right on the water. My family and a few others had villas up the hill in a place called Legends with a communal pool. But that gives you a sense. All right, let's see. Any other questions here? What are the hours for the teens?
So the teens, they will start at 9 a.m. And they will finish around 4, but we are there from 8 to 5. So if you want to drop them before or after, like it's really as you wish. But the real like master classes, for example, they start at 9, and they will finish at 12, and then on and on. So 9 to 4 for the real activities, and then for the diving day, this is something like we cannot really say for the moment because we need to know the level, how many people will attend, et cetera, but it's usually in the morning or in the afternoon. So it's a half day and it starts at 7:30 because you don't want to be too late for that. And they will leave with the boat at 8 and finish around 11:30. And for the family days, it's again the same thing. So from 8-9 to 12-1.
What do the families usually do after in the evening? Like once they finish to pick up, like what's been the usual thing? Do they just debrief, hang out with their kids, go to the beach? What's kind of the usual?
What we saw last year was that it was very common for families to meet up at a stretch of beach here on the northwest side of the island where it says Papatoai, where there was a pier going out, and that became sort of the tradition to meet up, watch the sunset. People bring drinks and food, and that are sort of reconnecting, talking about, you know, what the kids did today, what the teens did today, what different parents did over the course of the day, what's coming up. So that was kind of a ritual or tradition that arose there. And then also a lot of folks would meet up at different restaurants. And there were a fair bit of like potluck dinners in the sense of like, hey, you know, come on over to our place. I'm cooking, you know, a big batch of whatever, and folks bring stuff. So that kind of arose a fair bit also.
There was, yeah, for the kids, also for the TAMA program, the teens, they will also try to meet up after. So the local kids were so excited to host them, and we really make sure like how we select the local kids is like they're good kids, you know. They're really good kids. They want to show their island, so they're also after the program, they will invite them to come to their house or to go in the valley or go in the lagoon. So I mean, the experience for the people like attending the program for the teens, that I think is going to be really immersive, and there's always something to do after school. I mean, after summer school.
Okay. And then did most people rent a car? Is that the best way to get around?
Yes, definitely the best way to go around. The public transportations are not the best. We do have buses sometimes to times, but we highly encourage you to get your own car.
Yeah, and then we've got a relationship with Avis for what it's worth. So there'll be a rate with Avis, and when everyone arrives on the ferry on Sunday, July 2nd to Moorea, as soon as we get off, that's where the rental car places are. And just like last year, we'll all go across the street and get our rental cars and then drive up around the island to our respective accommodations.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see if, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Sam and Alexandre, for showing us such in detail. In terms of the kids camp, the younger ones, from the experience of your last year, because from 3 to 12 is a big difference. So how is it organized? Like for, our daughter is 6, for example. So say, are there, other local kids that are same age? What do they do? Because 8 to 4, I think, is quite long. So yeah, just a more detailed idea, more or less the kind of activities they do, and yeah.
Yeah, got it. So first off, the staff consists of the school director, Zaida, several others, and what we saw last year, and then what's planned for this year, is for the staff to work with kids in different age groups whenever that's needed or appropriate. Now, there's some sort of maybe like outdoor games that will be played where the kids can kind of all be together, language learning games and so forth. But otherwise, it's such that they'll sort of differentiate the groups based on the age, and there'll be staff, really for those younger kids who may not be able to do everything that the older kids are doing. As we get closer, we can provide a more detailed agenda of each day in terms of the morning, what they'll be doing, and then the fruits for snacks, and then the typically 3-course healthy lunch, and afternoon activities. But there are a number of different hikes planned where they go to different parts of the island for these guided hikes. Several different lagoon tours planned. They've even got a relationship with the one golf course on the island where the kids would be learning some basic golf techniques. And then the different kinds of workshops, the manoi, where they're using the very fragrant flowers, making the pareos, the kayaking and the snorkeling and all of that. So it's, as we get a little bit closer, it'll be hammered into the detailed agenda for each day as it was last year.
Mm-hmm. And even because sometimes if we're not working the whole day, we could just pick her up a bit earlier, I guess.
Let's say lunchtime, for
Yeah.
example. Maybe we feel it's like way too many hours for her to be like at the camp. So would it be possible to do half days, for example?
No problem at all. No problem at all. I myself had picked up one or both of my kids early last year. We saw other parents do that. There's no issue at all. If
Because maybe we just want to spend more time with her in the afternoon, for example, instead of just leaving her there like the whole day.
Sure, sure. No issue whatsoever.
Right. And apart from that, both, is there any sailing or rowing courses or lessons?
Alexandria?
Yes, so
For adults?
actually, for
us?
adults, yeah. So what we're proposing in the immersion, you will have both of them. So one is the rowing, so it's like the more sportive canoe. There's a very big competition here where they go from islands to islands.
Yeah, I know that.
And it's a really great sport. And last year, actually, one of the mother from the team participated on the canoe for the competition. So it was really nice. And then the second one is like the outrigger traditional canoe, where you'll be able to sail in the lagoon. So this is a more, I would say, relaxed than like the rowing, but you'll have both. And also it's a possibility for you if you wanted to do it as like every day for like training or something like this, because we could also like help you to be part of like a local group, or take some classes. Is the same with surf, is the same with other discipline like dancing too. I mean, we're from here, so we know a lot of people, and we'll be happy to do so.
Cool.
Yeah, because I think for him, for example, he was thinking also in learning
Oh yeah,
French,
learning French would be
like
good.
taking some French lessons, a little
Definitely.
bit. Uh-huh.
Yes, that's a great idea. I mean, you're here, we're still
That's why I
French.
thought that maybe like doing some like sailing lessons or rowing lessons
In French.
in French would be great.
Yes, anyway, it's going to be part French, part English. So you just have to ask them not to speak English, and they'll be very happy and relieved to just speak French.
Cool.
Yeah.
And last question, you mentioned e-bikes. Are there road bikes rental as well?
Yeah, so you can rent a bike. You can rent e-bikes. It is safe for some part of the island. There's like a road for bikes, but otherwise it's an island, so it's not like we don't have
No,
US roads.
yeah, we know the island, so we've been there before.
Okay.
Yeah. No, my question is, apart from the e-bikes, do they also have like normal road bikes? Like sporty?
There are, yes, they are. There.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Any final questions before we wrap up? Okay. All right. Well, that may be it. So feel free to reach out to me via email, text, WhatsApp. I'm happy to answer your questions. And then for those of you who are really interested, I would just really advise you to get your applications in soon, because the accommodations are getting booked up. That's the biggest imperative, is to reserve good accommodations while they're still available. So thank you all for dialing in and contributing. We look forward to working with some of you to make this family adventure happen.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.